Did you know there's a very affordable vitamin that's also incredibly effective and can change the way you walk after 70? It sounds exaggerated, right? But I assure you it's not. Let me tell you something. Recently, I met Ernesto, a 75-year-old man who used to walk hunched over with slow, short steps. Every time he went for a walk, he ended up exhausted, with pain in his knees, and with the feeling that his legs no longer responded as before. All that changed when his doctor mentioned a simple, low-cost vitamin that could mark a before and after in his daily routine. 3 weeks later, Ernesto enthusiastically told me that he had regained some of his mobility. It's not that he's running marathons now, but he can climb stairs without pauses, walk without that constant feeling of heaviness, and most importantly, he feels self-sufficient again. And it's not just him. Research with older adults has shown that this vitamin is closely related to balance, muscle strength, and bone health. Those who consume it regularly report fewer stumbles, less fatigue, and greater ease in moving safely. And the best part is that we're not talking about an expensive product or a miraculous internet supplement. It's something simple, affordable, and probably already in your home, where you can get it for less than the cost of a loaf of bread. In the next few minutes, I'll tell you how this vitamin can help you walk more firmly, regain energy, and relieve leg discomfort. It's not magic, it's scientific backing. And if you're over 70, this could be one of the best pieces of advice you receive today. So pay close attention because we're going to talk about balance, strength, strong bones, and how to take safer steps without spending much money. But before we continue, let me know in the comments how old you are and from which part of the world you're watching. I'd love to read your comments. First benefit: strengthens muscles and improves endurance. One of the most notable effects of this vitamin in older people is related to muscle strength, the same strength that many believe is lost solely due to aging. But in reality, it's not just the passing of years that affects muscles, but also the lack of certain essential nutrients to keep them in shape and functional. This vitamin, which we'll talk about soon, plays a key role in protein formation. You don't need to be a doctor to understand how important that is. Imagine your muscles as a structure that needs constant maintenance. Every time you climb stairs, walk, or get up from a chair, you're using muscle fibers that wear out over time. To keep them firm and active, your body needs to generate new proteins, and that's where this vitamin comes in. Additionally, it also influences muscle contraction. Have you ever felt your legs tremble when you exert yourself, or that they don't respond with the same firmness as before? That sensation could be due to low levels of this vitamin, which directly affect how your muscles receive signals to contract correctly. Now, imagine Donna Carmen, a 72-year-old woman who a few months ago couldn't even move freely around her house. Climbing a couple of steps left her breathless, her legs hurt, and she increasingly depended on others. Her doctor suggested checking her levels of this vitamin and starting to take a daily dose. A month later, not only could she walk down the hallway without stopping, but she also started going out shopping with her granddaughter again. The most exciting part was when she told me, "I feel like I've regained control over my body." And that's because having strength in your legs isn't just about moving. It's about having security, freedom, the ability to get up without assistance, to walk without fear of falling, and to feel self-sufficient. So if lately you've noticed that you lack energy or get tired more quickly than before, it might not just be due to age. Maybe your body is asking for a boost that you haven't identified yet. The good news is that this extra push could be closer than you think and cost much less than you imagine. Second benefit: helps reduce joint pain and combats inflammation. One of the most frequent discomforts with age is that constant pain in the knees, hips, or even ankles, pain when getting up, stiffness upon waking, difficulty taking the first steps of the day. You probably felt it too, that annoying creak that appears every time you climb stairs or try to bend down. And although sometimes we think it's an inevitable part of aging, the truth is that it doesn't have to be that way. The vitamin we're talking about has a potent anti-inflammatory effect. How does it work? It regulates the immune system and moderates the production of certain substances called cytokines. When these are out of control, they cause persistent inflammation in the joints. This inflammation is what irritates the tissues, hardens the areas that should move easily, and causes that annoying pain when we move. Additionally, this vitamin also plays a role in controlling calcium levels in the body, a mineral that not only keeps bones strong, but also influences how muscles contract and how nerve signals are transmitted. When calcium accumulates where it shouldn't, for example, in the joints, it can increase stiffness and pain. This vitamin helps prevent that by guiding calcium to where your body really needs it, your bones, not soft tissues. Let me tell you about Juan, an 80-year-old man who every morning woke up with stiff knees as if they were made of stone. Getting out of bed was a daily struggle. His grandson had to help him stand up, and only after several minutes could he take his first steps. His doctor recommended incorporating this vitamin daily and accompanying it with gentle stretches. A month later, Juan noticed an unexpected change. He no longer needed as much time to get up. The pain was still there, but it was much more bearable. "Now I get up in seconds, not minutes," he told me, smiling. And that's what matters. It's not about erasing all the pain, but about moving more easily, feeling that each day gets a little better. To make the most of this effect, the ideal is to combine the vitamin with some movement. You don't have to run or lift weights. Just walking around the house, doing some stretches when you wake up, or gently moving your legs while sitting is enough. This type of exercise, even if it's light, helps improve blood circulation, lubricates the joints, and keeps your body active. And when you combine it with a vitamin that works from the inside to reduce inflammation, the results can be felt in just a few weeks. Third benefit, improves balance and coordination. If you've ever felt unstable when standing up or walking, or noticed that you wobble even when you're not tired, you're not alone. It's something many older people experience. And most importantly, this isn't just about clumsiness or a lack of strength. Often, the real problem lies deeper, in the connection between the brain, nerves, and muscles. The vitamin we're talking about not only strengthens bones and relieves joints, but also plays a key role in neuromuscular health. That is, in how our muscles respond to commands from the nervous system. This vitamin allows the electrical signals that go from the brain to the legs, feet, and other muscles to be transmitted clearly and efficiently. But when there's a deficiency, this communication starts to fail. The muscles respond slowly, the legs feel unstable, and the brain doesn't receive proper information about the body's position. This is known as altered proprioception and is one of the main causes of falls in older people. Don Alfredo is an example of this. He had started to notice that when he stood up, he would sway to the side as if his legs weren't responding correctly. It wasn't dizziness or lack of strength. He simply didn't feel stable. His granddaughter bought him a supplement with this vitamin, and they started a very simple routine together, lifting one leg for 5 seconds while holding onto the back of a chair. First one leg, and then the other. A month later, he no longer wobbled. He summed it up himself, "My legs listen to me again." And that's because, with the support of this vitamin, the nerves responsible for balance and reflexes improve their functioning, and the body responds with more security. Want to reinforce this at home? Every morning, stand next to a sturdy chair or wall and lift one leg while maintaining your balance. Just a few seconds, then switch sides. This exercise activates your stabilizing muscles and strengthens the connection between your feet and your brain. Because yes, a firmer step can make the difference between a normal day and a fall that changes your life. And this vitamin can give you just the boost you need. Now, let's move on to the next benefit. Have you felt exhausted even after sleeping well? Then listen to this. This vitamin also combats fatigue, one of the most frequent symptoms after 70. It's not pain or weakness, but that constant fatigue, that feeling of starting the day without energy, of walking a little and feeling your legs heavy as if you were dragging sacks. It's a tiredness that isn't always due to a bad night or illness. Sometimes it's the body saying, "I don't produce energy like before." And this is where this vitamin shows its value, because in addition to strengthening the body, it also helps produce energy from within. To understand it better, imagine that each cell in your body is a small power plant. Inside are the mitochondria, which generate the energy we use every day. But these only work well if they have the right nutrients, and this vitamin is one of the most essential. Without it, the system becomes slow and exhausting, like trying to light a bulb with a dead battery. That's why, when the levels of this vitamin drop, one of the first symptoms that appear is extreme fatigue, even if you've rested. It doesn't matter if you slept well or ate healthily. You wake up and you're already tired. You walk a few minutes and feel like you need to sit down. But when you start taking this vitamin consistently, many people notice a real improvement in their energy levels. This is the case of Marta, a 78-year-old woman who said that every morning when she got up, she felt like her legs were two cement columns. She had to sit on the edge of the bed, take a deep breath, and wait before she could walk to the kitchen. Her granddaughter gave her a bottle with this vitamin and recommended taking it with breakfast. In just a few weeks, Marta noticed that her legs were no longer as heavy. She herself said, "It's as if my body turns on faster every morning." And this testimony is repeated in many older people who begin to regain their energy not by magic, but because their cells, thanks to this vitamin, start producing energy efficiently again. A practical tip: if you're going to incorporate this vitamin, do it first thing in the morning, preferably with breakfast. Why? Because by stimulating energy metabolism, many people feel a boost of vitality a few hours after taking it. And if you take it in the morning, this effect accompanies you just at the times when you need to move, walk, or concentrate the most. If you feel without energy even after resting, maybe your body doesn't need more hours of sleep, but better fuel. And this vitamin can be exactly that. And if we've already talked about energy and movement, wait until you discover how this vitamin also strengthens your bones and protects one of the most important structures in your body, the skeleton. Let's get to that. Fifth benefit: strengthens bones and prevents osteoporosis. One of the biggest fears after 70 isn't just the risk of a fall, but what can come after: a hip fracture, complicated surgery, loss of mobility, or even independence. What many don't know is that there's a simple and accessible way to reduce that risk, and it starts with taking care of bone health from within. When we talk about bones, most people think of calcium. And yes, calcium is fundamental because it gives hardness to the bone. But calcium alone isn't enough if it's not combined with the right vitamin. It's like having bricks without cement. This vitamin works as the transporter that takes calcium to the right places, the bones. And not only does it take it there, but it also helps keep it there, reinforcing its structure from the root. Over the years, bone mass naturally decreases. That's part of aging. But the problem isn't losing a little. It's losing so much that the bones become porous and fragile. That's called osteoporosis, a silent condition that advances without symptoms until one wrong step changes everything. The most surprising thing is that recent studies show that this vitamin can significantly reduce the risk of fractures, especially in older adults. A study conducted with adults over 70 showed that those who consumed this vitamin regularly for several months managed to reduce hip fractures by up to 20% compared to those who didn't take it. Although 20% may seem like a small figure, when it comes to life-changing injuries, that reduction is very significant. However, as I always emphasize, no vitamin acts alone. To keep bones strong, it's essential to combine its consumption with physical activity. You don't have to do extreme exercises. Low-impact movements like brisk walking, climbing stairs, or practicing balance exercises with your own body weight are enough to promote bone regeneration. Think about this. Every time you step firmly, you send a signal to your bones that you still need them strong. By providing them with the right vitamin, they respond by becoming stronger, denser, and more resistant. So if you're at a stage where you notice that your bones aren't as strong, if you've had a minor fall that left you in pain, or if you simply want to prevent it, this vitamin could be your best ally because it strengthens from within and protects the invisible. You're probably wondering now how to obtain it, if it's in foods, and how much it costs. The good news is that you don't have to spend a lot or look for hard-to-find products to start incorporating it into your daily routine. This vitamin can be obtained in two ways: naturally, through diet and sun exposure, and complementarily, through supplements, both options being valid and sometimes combined to achieve the necessary dose. Among the richest foods are eggs, especially the yolk, liver, and fatty fish like sardines, salmon, and mackerel. It's also present in some fortified dairy products and certain types of mushrooms. If you're used to eating fish a couple of times a week, adding eggs to your breakfast, and consuming liver occasionally, you're on the right track. Additionally, there's a natural and free source, the sun. Just by exposing your skin for 15 to 20 minutes daily, preferably arms and legs, your body can produce this vitamin naturally. This, of course, depends on the time, season, and where you live. In areas with little sun in winter, this method may be insufficient. And if you always use sunscreen or don't go out much, production will be low. That's why many people over 70 opt for supplements, which are accessible and don't require expensive brands or special formulas. A bottle of generic pills usually costs less than a weekly coffee and lasts a whole month. The recommended dose for older adults varies between 800 and 2,000 international units daily, equivalent to 20 to 50 micrograms. It's better to start with a moderate amount and consult a doctor to adjust if necessary, as some people with low levels may need more initially. When choosing a supplement, look for one with good absorption, preferably in soft capsules or liquid form, and with quality certification. You don't need to pay more for flashy labels. What's important is that it fulfills its function and is used consistently. Remember that this vitamin isn't something you take once, and that's it. Its benefits are built over time. It's a simple but very powerful daily investment. A small habit that can improve the way you walk, your posture, and your overall well-being. The best part is that this vitamin is within reach of almost everyone. It just requires a little planning, a few minutes in the sun, a varied diet, or an affordable supplement. That's how simple and transformative it is. But before you run out to buy it, there's something important you should know. Although its benefits are numerous, it can also cause side effects if not used carefully. And that's what we'll talk about in the next part on precautions and interactions. So far, we've seen how this vitamin can improve your life after 70. More strength, less pain, better balance, stronger bones, and renewed energy. But as with everything in life, it's essential to be cautious because, although it's an essential nutrient and generally safe, it's not without risk if used incorrectly or without supervision. The basic recommendation before starting to take supplements is simple but crucial. Have a blood test to measure your levels of this vitamin and know if you really have a deficiency and in what quantity you need to reach an optimal level. Not all older people have the same levels. Some get enough sun, others obtain it through their diet, and some, for various reasons, have very low levels. Additionally, it's vital to consider if you're undergoing treatment with medications, as many older adults take medications constantly, and some may interact with this vitamin. For example, thiazide diuretics, commonly used for hypertension, can elevate calcium in the blood if combined with supplements, which could cause hypercalcemia, a condition that generates nausea, muscle weakness, and even kidney damage. You should also be cautious if you consume corticosteroids, used to treat inflammation or autoimmune diseases, as they can interfere with how the body uses the vitamin, decreasing its effectiveness and increasing the need for supplementation, always under medical supervision. How do you know if you're taking too much? Although it's difficult to overdose just with diet or sun, supplements can cause an overdose if consumed in excess over a long period. Some mild symptoms of excess include loss of appetite, nausea, abdominal pain, continuous thirst, or frequent need to urinate. In severe cases, there could be kidney damage or cardiac alterations. That's why you should never start supplementing without consulting your doctor, especially if you use other medications or have kidney, liver, or cardiovascular diseases. The doctor can indicate the correct dose, order tests, and monitor to ensure that supplementation is safe and effective. Remember that more isn't always better. You shouldn't take vitamins freely like water because excess can be as harmful as deficiency. If you decide to take it, do so responsibly, combining it with good habits, a balanced diet, moderate exercise, and adequate rest. Because it's not just about taking a pill, but about taking care of your body in a comprehensive way. To close, let's review what we've learned. We talked about a simple and economical vitamin with incredible power to help you walk better after 70, strengthening muscles, a key to maintaining balance and avoiding falls. Then we talked about its ability to relieve joint pain and reduce inflammation, especially in the knees and hips, The areas where age-related were most noticeable. We also highlighted how it helps combat fatigue, giving you more energy to move, enjoy, and avoid feeling exhausted after walking a little. Later, we saw its key role in bone health, contributing to the prevention of fractures thanks to its effect on calcium absorption and bone density. Finally, we learned the simple ways to obtain it, whether through sun exposure, consuming foods rich in this vitamin, or with accessible and economical supplements. It's not a magic pill that solves everything, but it can be a powerful ally within an active lifestyle that includes good nutrition, daily movement, and adequate rest. My recommendation is clear. If you're over 70 and feel that walking is becoming difficult, that your muscles are heavier, or your joints hurt, try incorporating this vitamin for a month with your doctor's guidance. Observe how you feel. If you get up with more agility, if you can walk without having to stop frequently, if you notice more firmness when standing, sometimes small changes generate big results. And now I want to hear from you. Do you dare to include it in your routine? Did you already know about it? Have you tried it and noticed any changes? Tell me in the comments. I'd love to know your age, where in the world you're watching from, and what you think about all this. And if you think this video can help a friend, neighbor, or family member who also feels the passage of time in their legs, share it. Because perhaps with this small vitamin, you'll give them something much more valuable, the freedom to keep walking. Thank you for being here. It's been a pleasure sharing this content with you.